Quick test. Think about one task you have been delaying for at least 3 days. Now replay the exact moment you decide to postpone. It usually is not dramatic. You open the file, feel a small wave of tension, and your brain offers a soothing sentence, later. That one word feels responsible, but it is often a relief move, not a scheduling move. This video is about that hidden moment, because if you can redesign that moment, procrastination stops running your day. Notice this. The decision to delay often happens in under 5 seconds, so our plan must be usable inside that tiny window, not after motivation appears. Most people frame procrastination as a discipline problem. That framing is useful for guilt and useless for change. For everyday procrastination, the bottleneck is usually emotional load. The task predicts uncertainty, evaluation, or effort, and your nervous system wants immediate downshift. So the brain picks a fast regulator: scrolling, inbox checks, reorganizing, snack runs, tiny chores, anything that lowers tension now. You are not failing because you do not know what to do. You are avoiding the state that appears right before doing it. When people call themselves lazy, they usually stop analyzing the environment, and that blocks progress. Treating it as state management keeps the problem solvable. Here is the loop we will use: cue, craving, action, reward. Cue is not the entire project. Cue is the first spike of discomfort when the project becomes real. Craving is not achievement. Craving is relief from that discomfort. Action is your escape behavior. Reward is immediate calm. Because the reward arrives instantly and the cost arrives later, the loop self-reinforces. Once you see these 4 parts separately, you stop describing procrastination as personality and start treating it like a trainable system. Think of it like a software loop. If the input and reward stay the same, the output repeats. We change outputs by changing the cue response and reward timing. Let us isolate cue, because this is where most people miss the leverage point. Your cue might be opening the blank document, seeing a long inbox thread, or noticing that the next step is ambiguous. Physically, it often feels like tight chest, forehead pressure, shallow breath, or restless hands. If you do not label the cue, it feels like a command. If you label it, it becomes data. Say it in plain language: this is resistance, not danger. That sentence alone creates enough distance to prevent autopilot escape. A practical cue label can be as short as 2 words: uncertainty, spike. Short labels are easier to remember and deploy when your attention is already overloaded. Second, craving. In procrastination loops, craving is usually state change, not pleasure. Your brain asks for immediate reduction in friction. That is why neutral distractions still work. You are not always chasing fun. You are often chasing less pressure. This matters because the fix is not banning every enjoyable thing. The fix is giving your brain a safer, smaller downshift that does not pull you into a 20-minute detour. When craving is interpreted correctly, you stop negotiating with shame and start designing replacements. Many viewers say this reframe removes half the shame instantly, because it explains why even high performers still delay when stress and ambiguity pile up. Third, action. The action phase is where procrastination disguises itself as productivity. You color-code notes, reorganize folders, check messages, and call it preparation. Some preparation is useful, but loop behavior has one signature. It avoids contact with the core task. So use one binary question: did this action reduce uncertainty on the real deliverable? If the answer is no, it is likely an escape action. This single filter prevents you from giving distraction credit it has not earned. This is why checking effort alone is misleading. You can feel very busy and still avoid the one action that would actually move the project forward. Fourth, reward. Procrastination pays immediately with tension relief and charges you later with time pressure. That delayed cost is why smart people repeat a pattern they already understand. From a learning perspective, the brain updates on immediate outcomes first. So if we want the loop to weaken, We must lower the immediate payoff of escape and raise the immediate payoff of starting. You cannot lecture your way out of this. You have to rebalance the reward timing in your environment and behavior. If you only remember one line from this section, remember this. Your future stress is often a bill created by present relief decisions. Move 2 is to shrink the start so hard that resistance loses its argument. Do not ask, "Can I finish this?" Ask, "What is a 10-second action that makes the task real?" Open the file. Write one ugly sentence. Rename the document. Create 3 bullet placeholders. For workouts, put shoes on and step outside. For email, draft the first line only. Completion pressure is heavy. Initiation pressure can be made tiny. Training tiny starts is the fastest way to rebuild behavioral trust. Over a week, 10 tiny starts compound into real momentum, and momentum makes larger sessions feel less threatening because the project is no longer cold. Move 3 is adding friction to escape routes. Not maximum friction, just enough to interrupt reflex. Put the phone in another room during one work block. Log out of the most tempting app. Use a blocker list for 40 minutes. Keep only one task tab open. These are not moral rules. They are mechanical speed bumps. When escape gets slightly harder and starting gets slightly easier, behavior flips without drama. Small environment edits outperform heroic self-talk almost every time. Pick only 1 or 2 friction edits first. Too many controls at once create their own resistance and are harder to maintain. Move 4 is pre-deciding with if-then rules. When the cue appears, you execute a script instead of opening a debate. Examples. If I feel the urge to avoid, then I do a 60-second starter action. If I open social media during focus block, then I close it and take 3 slow breaths before returning. If I miss one session, then I restart with a 2-minute version the same day. Implementation intentions reduce decision load and make consistency realistic under stress. Write these rules where you can see them during work blocks. Invisible rules are rarely executed under pressure. Now bundle these moves into a concrete protocol you can run tonight. Step 1. Choose one delayed task and write the smallest visible start. Step 2. Remove one major escape path for the next block. Step 3. Start a 2-minute timer and only aim to begin, not finish. Step 4. When timer ends, decide whether to continue in another 2-minute block. This sequence works because it respects nervous system reality and reduces ambiguity at every decision point. Run this protocol for 7 days before judging it. Behavior systems need repetition before you feel the full benefit. Worked example. Suppose you are delaying a presentation. Cue appears when you open slides and feel uncertainty. Your if-then rule triggers. If uncertainty spikes, then create the title slide and 3 bullets only. You run 2 minutes, produce a rough skeleton, and resistance drops from intense to manageable. You continue another short block because starting already happened. The key win is not perfect slides. The key win is breaking the old prediction that discomfort always leads to escape. Once the first version exists, improvement becomes easier because editing is cognitively lighter than starting from 0. You will still have bad days, so we need a relapse plan. Do not use misevents as identity evidence. Use them as diagnostics. Ask 3 questions. What was the cue? What escape action paid out? And what friction was missing? Then, adjust one variable for tomorrow. That might mean shrinking the first action further, moving the phone farther, or changing your work window. The goal is trend improvement, not perfect streaks. Loops weaken when recovery is fast and specific. A fast reset protects identity. You stay the kind of person who returns quickly, instead of the kind of person who waits for a perfect Monday. Final principle. Design beats motivation. Most procrastination advice overestimates motivation and underestimates setup. If your workspace defaults to distraction, your behavior will follow. Set tomorrow tonight. 1 clear first task, 1 visible starter action, and 1 removed distraction. Make the right action obvious and the wrong action inconvenient. That is behavior design in plain language. You are not waiting to feel ready. You are building a system that works even when you do not. If mornings are your best window, prepare at night. If evenings are better, set your environment before dinner so friction is already removed. Quick recap. Procrastination is usually a learned relief loop. Cue, craving, action, reward. Break it with 4 moves. Name the cue, shrink the start, add friction to escape, and run if-then rules. Then use the 2-minute protocol to make starting repeatable. Try it tonight on one task you keep delaying. If this helped, subscribe for the next video, where we will break down how to restart habits after a broken streak without losing momentum. Put your chosen starter action in a note right now, so the next cue meets a prepared response instead of a blank decision.